Randy Cole Sims Sr. here, Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. Thankful to God to have the opportunity to once and again find myself amongst the land of the living. Um, of course, continually mindful of the circumstance that we are being pressed with in regards to the impact of the coronavirus and how it has definitely made great change, at least to this point in time, in our lives. And we continue to speak to God in regards to the same. I take some time just now, really, because of the stimulus of something that crossed my mind earlier on today. I believe that every now and again, life does some interesting kinds of things in terms of teaching us things that are great truths. As a matter of fact, truths that extend even to the point of great spiritual truths. And I believe I had such an occasion to happen with me on today. If you really needed to have a tag, a title, a subject of consideration, perhaps it would be the computer blamed the modem. The computer blamed the modem. I know you might be wondering, Bruh Sims, what in the world are you talking about right now? Yeah, I kind of smiled about it as the thought crossed my mind after things unfolded the way that it did. And let me try and explain what I'm saying and why we have the tag, the title, the computer blame the modem. I was doing some work at my computer at home earlier on today prior to heading to the office. And as I was doing some work, there was a glitch of some sorts, a problem with my computer here at home. And as I tried to figure out what was going on, it sent me a message across the screen that said, maybe you need to check your modem. And I looked at it and waited a minute or two, fiddled around with some things. The computer began to operate properly and came back up. And then I said to my wife, I said, are all of your apparatus, your tablet, your laptop, and the things that we use in the house that would require an internet connection, are all of your items working properly? She said, oh yeah, everything's fine, nothing is had. And I kind of smiled and said to my wife, the computer just blamed the modem. Oh, and I tell you, as I thought about it, I thought about the old expression, the blame game. You know how one thing blames the other. Well, no, it's not my fault. It's this one's fault, and the reason why, and all of that kind of thing. And I found that kind of interesting that earlier today, the computer blamed the modem, when in actuality, it wasn't the modem. The modem was operating fine because all of the rest of the technology in the house was working just fine. And so, of course, that kind of started me to thinking, and I couldn't help but think about Genesis chapter 3. Some of you all are probably familiar with the third chapter of the book of Genesis, verse number 12, verse number 13. Adam and Eve did what they did. And as God is going to and comes to deal with them, the text reads at verse number 12 and verse number 13 that I might refresh. It says, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Interesting, he first says to God, the woman whom thou gavest to me. All right. And then in verse number 13 it says, and the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Well, the computer blamed the modem, Adam blamed his wife, and Sister Eve blamed the serpent. Everybody was blaming somebody else. Friends, I'm mindful of such an occasion that we have the experiences of life that sometimes we find ourselves passing the buck. It's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else that is to blame. Of course, it's not God's desire and or intent that we would find ourselves guilty of such a thing. But I thought in a lighthearted kind of fashion that I was reminded of that lesson in regards to the blame game when earlier today I saw the computer blame the modem. Oh, friends, be blessed. Be blessed. Even though we are facing some restrictions and this is a time like we've never seen, I thought maybe just something a little lighthearted, but yet that shared in kind of parabolic teaching fashion, anchored from Genesis chapter 3, verse 12 and 13, might be a blessing to your life at this point in time. Pray God, and we're thankful for how God has sustained, appreciative for those who seem to be surviving unscathed to this point. We'll continue to appeal to God, even for those who have been infected and affected to the point of sickness, that the Lord would bless, strengthen, and restore, and that ultimately He'll bring us through this time as only God can. Have an awesome, good, productive day. And as always, you are in our prayers. Until the next time, may God bless and may He keep is our humble prayer.